Is it starting? Okay. Is it starting? Yeah. Okay, we're here. Hello. It's starting. No one's here, but I am gonna do a live stream. Okay. Can't listen to myself. But it is working. Right. So I'll introduce what I'm gonna do. Okay. So this is Hotline, which is a graphics engine in Rust that I made, and it has these little plugin systems that basically these are little demos, and you can edit the code. So, for example, if I edit this code here, I can remove some of the geometry that's in the scene. It takes a little. The compile time or the link time's actually quite slow on Rust, but anyway, it's changed the code and the program kept on running. So that's why it's called Hotline, because it's hot reloadable. And I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use Claude to try and make a game in a way that might feel interactive and fun. So yeah, basically, I want to see how far that I can get on this. Use this. One person watching. Hello, anyone who's watching. If you're not, this will be on a video as well, so you don't have to watch it live. But I thought it'd be fun to do it live. Now this one. It's edited it again. It's a bit slow, the latency on the turnaround, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is tell Claude. Should I tell Claude in this one? So yeah, I'm just going to start asking him to do stuff. Firstly, I've got an idea for a game. So I'm going to explain to Claude. We're going to do some interactive coding inside Hotline to make a game. This first mess prompt will just be to set up some context about the game, and then after that we can start tackling it small steps at a time. Right, so I want to explain about that, and then what the game is. It's going to be so the game is a sort of what would we call it, like a relaxing building game where you design I don't know what the terminology is called, where you design the infrastructure inside a tube underground train station. The aim is to maximize the flow rate of the human traffic, of the footfall traffic, we should call it. Traffic. So some examples would be like the people have to go through barriers to pay. This may slow them down and create bottlenecks. So you have to add more barriers, escalators and one-way systems. To improve the efficiency of the station. Similarly, increasing the platform lengths, the train lengths, and the frequency of trains. Okay, so that's the context. Basically like a kind of SimCity sort of thing, but you're building the inside of a station. Okay, so it's summarized it like mini motorways meets the London Underground. Kind of, yes. What's he doing now? So what we need to do is make a new plugin or a new file, the Rust file. That's where we will put all of our code. I did say to it, Claude, to not go away and do anything, and I was just kind of giving him some context, but I suppose it's just reading the code base here to kind of understand it. Right, it's looking back through the commits as well. I probably should also... Oh, actually, I can claim an extra £37 worth of tokens on Claude, I noticed. On usage. So basically, I was going to do the stream until I ran out of tokens, but I'll claim the extra tokens now. I've used 4% of my session tokens, and I have £38 of extra balance to use. But yeah, Claude's gone away and started doing lots of stuff when I said to not do this. Hotline framework. So he's looked it up. Okay, game concept. See what he's saying. Right. It's done a summary of the engine, ECS based with Bev ECS. That is correct. 3D rendering, mesh primitives types, ImGUI, data-driven rendering, config files, and demos. Yep. So it understands all of that kind of thing. The game concept, the core loop, placeable elements, trains, passengers, goals, vibe, relaxing, top-down, or isometric builder. So yeah, did a pretty good job of figuring out what I wanted there. So what we would like to tackle first. Okay, first thing we need to do is to make a new file, which will be the game itself. This will be registered as a new demo. So a similar example you can copy is geometry primitives, which is the one we're looking at now. .rs. Let's make a new demo. For now we work inside the plugin, and later we can extract it. I think the game should be called Rat Race. So Rat Race. So we call the file ratrace.rs. I want the grid. I want the grid rendering, and the first tasks. First tasks we can do will involve, just using basic primitives and debug lines. So what I want Claude to do is to basically register a new demo, and then we'll be in an empty file essentially, where we can start hooking in the code, and we can use the grid as a reference and kind of start getting some gameplay mechanics emerging. It's taking a while though. I mean, it's probably, in this amount of time, I could have created my own file. It's not that much effort, but it has to go away and figure it all out. And the objective is vibe coding, purely vibe coding, so I'm just going to keep doing this until I use all my tokens. Or I get bored and tired. I mean, I've already used 8%. Oh man, it's slow. So, yeah, while it's doing this, I'll sort of provide some more content. In terms of like the generated code or AI generated code, I am using it a bit, but I still kind of do most stuff by hand or manually. I think I get it to kind of help me just sort of generate very specific things, because this kind of high level, like do me a whole thing, it's taking a long time to search the code base to try and figure out everything. And I did say, we'll move slowly a bit at a time, and I gave it exactly what to do, but it's kind of like I don't think there's any need for it to really look in here. In imdraw.pmfx, that's the debug rendering. I mentioned it for some as extra context of what we would be doing. And yeah, it's sort of gone away and thinking a lot more. Also the plan mode, maybe I should have done plan mode as well. I will admit, I'm not like, I don't know, I kind of find it useful for stuff. It's quite easy to use, but I don't really overthink it and do lots of planning or prompt or context engineering that people seem to talk about. I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with it. Like, I'm only just really starting to try and use a more full-on vibe coded solution instead of doing it myself. But like, mate, this has been going. Does it tell me how long it's been going? Like, this has been long. Right. And I've used 17% of my tokens. In that it was doing this. It's gone way ahead. Basically. Way ahead of itself, I think. Like, all I wanted it to do was essentially create me a new file and have an empty thing. And then I was going to say, let's add a character that can move, Right, so it's doing this. Create rat race with grid drawing and a render function. Register rat race module in demo in lib.rs. So that's so it can appear in this list. Oh, here we go. So it put the grid in. Mate, there's a grid. It's drawn its own grid, but the grid, there's a primitive function that would draw the grid for it. So, oh, mate, that's annoying. Not a good start. Draw 3D. You don't need to do that. So, you don't need to. And then I think also the debug, you do not need to. So basically, it's gone away, done way too much stuff, and that I didn't ask it to do, and it's done it wrong. Like kind of rewritten stuff that was there. It hadn't made use of what was already there. Imdraw. It creates its own instance of imdraw. You do not need to. I think it doesn't need to dispatch the imdraw. So the engine automatically dispatches any imdraw. I think it does. It has been a while since I was working on that. Let me find the grid utility. What's it saying? %, of my session tokens have been used, and we haven't even got past the start point. Like I did another one of these the other day. I didn't put it up, but it was like in an experiment, not of game dev. I just got it to make a little demo, and it was much quicker at doing that. Much quicker than this. I see what you're saying, using the existing render debug with the grid debug flag. Let me check how to enable the debug flag from setup. You don't, it's already there, mate. I think they made it worse. I think it was on Opus 4.5, and now at 4.6 just is overthinking everything. Oh, mate, this is so long. Okay, I see the render debug. No, you don't need to do that. Okay, yeah, this is what I wanted anyway. I wanted that one. That was ratrace.rs, which is going to be the game. Yes. So we need to add a module, and then it needs to register the demo as well. And this is where it registered the demo. So it should appear in the list. Build and verify. Rat Race has appeared in the list, so that's nice to know. And then we can click on it, and then we just have a grid. Right, well, that took quite a while. How long has this been going for? Right, 20 minutes, right? It's taken 20 minutes to make an empty thing with a grid. Yes, let's do all of this. Come on. Clean build. Here's what was created. We've done that. Right, so all of this, a tip, really. Just set up your project yourself, because it'll be cheaper. This is costing a lot of tokens now, just to make an empty grid. But it did do it in the right places, and it added all the necessary things. But that I would have done that in like a minute. I'm not even exaggerating. So the first thing what we want to do now, the game is going to be about the footfall of moving entities through the world. We should make some. We'll probably just use primitives. I think that. So let's go back to geometry primitives. So I think something like a cone maybe might be good for a person for the time being. As a primitive we could use, or a pyramid. What's this one called? I think that one's a pyramid. The 4-point pyramid. So then we can use that to kind of point the direction that they're going, and it's going to be like a little, like a Boyd's simulation, sort of, but they're going to be traffic people, so they're going to avoid each other. We need add primitives to represent the characters. What's that? 50% context used. And the problem with this is then you run out of context, and it has to like learn all of this about the engine again. This is where probably I need the Markdown, Claude, and that. So might have to do some more research. But anyway, we're going to just keep going until we have to restart. So add primitive to represent the people. I think we could use a pyramid primitive where the point can indicate direction. So I think we'll just try and be really specific. I don't want it to go away and do loads of stuff. Let's add a single primitive, but let's maybe make a class, a type, right? Or let's make a new kind of entity, which is an agent. I think you call them in these systems, not as an AI agent, but an agent. Each individual person will be called an agent. An agent. This is essentially a person in the game who will enter the station, enter or exit the station. So they have a destination, target destination. They have a sort of maybe a speed, like some might be slower than others. Speed could be like urgency. Target destination, they have speed, which is their urgency. Direction. and direction. These obviously affect the position and the transform, overall transform of the entity. Okay, so let's add let's create the agent, and let's add a few agents with, let's see like how we're gonna do this, with starting points at like minus z in the z plane, x z plane, starting in minus z, and a target that is in plus z. So if this is the 0, this would be minus z and this would be plus z, and so I want to start here and just move towards the target basically. They will spawn at the start pause and then move toward the end pause based on speed. For now, let's just get them into a straight line. Yeah. Let's see how it manages this. I think so. Essentially what we're going to see, hopefully it will spawn some geometry at minus z, and we'll move to plus z. Or this might be minus and this might be plus. I'm not sure, but create pyramid mesh. He's found it. Okay. Okay, so we have an agent, we have a target, which is a vec3f, and a speed. Then I just need to hide. So we create a pyramid mesh, agent count, we've got 5 that spawns them. It spawns an agent, and they have different z, target z, start z. Yep, it's kind of, I think it's gonna put them in, looks like it's put them in a line. Okay, and then there's some logic which is moving toward, let's take the changes. It probably seems okay. This one, I like in Copilot, it has skip. Okay. So the tip is the wrong way around, which is fine. It's actually, I think it's rotated the tip, rotated about the wrong axis. No, I just ignore that. I don't want to. So it has worked. The problem, there is a problem. tip is pointing the wrong way. And let's just check Claude's code. From Euler, pyramid tip is plus y. Oh, actually points along plus z. It should be pointing minus z. I think. Or let's take that. It's changing it. No, it's not worked. Oh, there we go. It has. Now it's changed. Cool, right? So we've got them. They're going to be like people. Some of them are slow. The speed things a bit of an issue. Needs tweaking, but in principle, these little these are people or the agents. Okay. So now we should try and get it to make them go to somewhere. So somewhere where they need to rotate, so they don't go in a straight line. Waypoints. Okay, that's interesting. I like how it's decided to do that. Current waypoint. Okay, so that means we could use the waypoints as a way to navigate a more complex environment where there will be walls and there will be escalators and barriers and things like that. Yes. No, I don't want it to run. I'll just use my own. Oh, Rust Analyzer crashed. Oh. Is it? It might not be compiling actually. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to get him to compile it. Right. Well, not. I mean, not a very productive session, I have to say. Yeah, run that. So agent is not. It needs mut. Yes. Right, okay, cool. Here we go. It's done it now. Right, nice. Cool. I think what I'm noticing there, I quite like it. Okay, that cool. That restarts it, which is handy. The way they turn is they're turning good. They're facing in the right direction. So now, I want them to not turn immediately. I want them to interpolate the rotation, and that'll give them kind of a natural turning circle. So I'm going to say when they rotate a waypoint, don't immediately set the rotation to desired rotation. Instead, interpolate to the target rotation by a factor, and that will give them a smoother turning circle. I think that might make them look a bit nicer. And then I need to start adding some. Think about barriers or collision and things we have to avoid. Now it's having to go into the maths library to figure out how to do that. Just go quick check on token usage. This is 40% of the tokens of my of session tokens. So make of that what you will. 36 minutes in. We've not made much progress, but it has done what I've wanted it to do. It's taking a long time reading about stuff. Smoothly. Turn speed. Did it put a hard-coded turn speed? Oh, that should be... Probably we should put that into the agent type. Then it can be slightly variable depending on the person. Nlerp. Let's see. Is it compiling? Mate, the free functions don't work for quat. It needs quat f. I had this the other day. I think the thing with this is the API for the maths library is not really standard in terms of Rust because it's using kind of free functions, and it definitely confuses Claude. So let's see if this has worked. Exit code. Oh, mate. It's writing its own maths and code now, and they should already exist. This is the second time it's got confused about... There is an nlerp, and it's in the library, maths library. And it got confused about this the other day as well. Same thing. And then X is private. Is it? Mate, what a mess. This is not very good. So now it's going to have a look how to use the quaternion class, which it already messed up. This is not as interactive as I thought it was going to be. Yes, exactly. That's the thing, yeah. There should be an nlerp. There is an nlerp already, but in the middle of doing this, I can't look at the code to figure it out. Here we go. It's compiled it. Okay, do you see that? They were smoothly. They're more smoothly turning now. So that's good. Cool. Okay. So now what? We want to... Well, the individual things... If we had more agents, they're going to have to sort of avoid each other. So we need avoidance of each other, and then also avoidance of other objects in the scene. So can we add more agents? And can we create a scenario where they may overlap and they may have to avoid one another? We need to create some avoidance. It's like avoidance and coherence behavior, which you have in Boyd's, which is slightly like it's going to be similar to Boyd's, but not quite, because it's not a flock, it's more individual. So let's see if it can do that, basically. Something similar to Boyd's. Oh, hello. Oh, I can just talk to you. Person who's said when it has a nice full context, ask it to write a README or a how-to. Yeah, I've not really done a lot of agent coding, right? So probably I'm a little bit inexperienced, but I need to set myself up so if I carry this on another time, that it can kind of pick up where it left off. So I think that's a good advice. And so the context window is getting full now, or getting close to getting full. So we're at 81%. So yeah, I'll do that, and then I'm hoping that I can sort of keep building on this, and that when I started it today, it took a good 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Whoa, that's pretty good, actually. This is what it's done now. This is... The avoidance thing was quite cool, right? These have got some sort of wobbly collision. But I mean, I'm thinking that I'm pretty happy about this. Like, that's kind of what I want, right? It's going to be a crowd of people. And they're going to have to avoid each other, and they're going to have to, you know, navigate. So I think it's done a pretty good job there. So maybe, yeah, this is quite good. It's got some settings. Let's see what we've got in the agent now. Just waypoints and speed. There's turn speed. Speed times delta. I think we should add the turn speed. Turn speed should be on an agent basis. It can be like a little bit variable, but not a huge amount. So 5 look fine. So let's say between 3 and 6. Okay, and then also we need to start thinking about obstacles that they need to go through. So some, like, yeah, maybe at some point I'm going to have to design like a, you know, a map system, so there'll be corridors and things. But I think maybe obstacles, barriers, we could make them just out of primitives. But I'll just get it to move the turn speed for the time being into the parameter. Avoid radius, avoid strength. Yeah, again, those ones, avoid radius and strength, maybe they're variable, and also those constraints might change as if something became busy. Or, you know, if it was busy and people were in a rush, they're more likely to get closer. But I think those things we can tune later on. Okay. Okay, it's reloaded it. And that's pretty fun. Oh. Cool. Okay. No, because I know it's compiled, so that's fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to say we need to put some barriers, or adding some barriers and obstacles in the scene. Typically the way it works is like you're going to have a barrier they're going to have to come in through a barrier where they pay, and then the barriers are going to be one way. So can we make a barrier where you can only go through in one direction? They have to pay to unlock the barrier and wait, wait in line, right? If necessary. So we should have, like, let's add 2 barriers. One that comes one in and one out. We could make the barriers from maybe we could we can enclose them in walls. So what would it be? From just primitives. It would be folding. It would be like a folding or sliding door. We might also enclose them inside some walls. Let's see how it can do. I'm getting close to full context window now. Let's see how much I'm doing on token wise. This has been 50% of my tokens so far. I'm only on the pro plan, so that's not the 5x one. This one's probably quite a bit more work, really. So let's see what he's done so far. 170 lines of code, leveraging my engine. I'm annoyed about this nlerp. I do have one. I'm going to just check that on another Maths RS. Maybe I don't have nlerp for quaternion. I thought I did. Yes, it does. We do have a quaternion nlerp. The problem is it's struggling to figure out how to use it. Doesn't really matter, it has figured it out, but it got stuck on that the other day as well, the same thing. There's something about the maths library that confuses it. I'm interested to see what it does here about creating walls and barriers and thinking about how much it might do. There's a problem here, I suppose. These are kind of deadlocked together as well. And jittering. Come on. This is definitely not as fun as normal coding. There's a lot of waiting involved. It's probably been quicker than I would have been able to do it myself, though, manually. Slower at some stuff than I would have done quickly, but has, much quicker at some stuff as well, I think. Maze, this one's taken a long time. And maybe I should have done it in plan mode for a bigger body of work, just to check what it was going to do. I think I had better results of that last time I tried this. It's kind of deterministic that these ones always get stuck. Oh no, not always. Oh, these guys got stuck that time. Come on. This is definitely not as interactive. I thought it was going to be more like iterative and we'd see things changing, but definitely this long body of kind of going away, waiting. I suppose in that case you could be doing other things. I found that quite good for at work. Kind of getting Claude, it's Claude through Copilot, and it can kind of do some refactoring for you or clean up while you're doing something else, or vice versa, and you can just like leave it going and get it to do a job that you were putting off. So for example, in this engine, I actually did it the other day where the layout of the project, in terms of how it's a workspace for Rust, and how the cargo files are set up. You have a cargo tunnel in the top root here, which sets up your project, and this is a workspace one now, and it wasn't before, because the plugins have their own cargo tunnels as well, and now everything shares the same workspace. And I just got Claude to do it while I was doing something else, because I was putting off the maintenance. And for that kind of stuff, it's really kind of gives you a productivity boost, because sometimes if you come back to a project and you're like thinking, oh, I really could do with like tidying up this stuff, or I know there's this maintenance that needs doing, or as time goes on, you learn things and you realize you might have done something wrong, and having that hanging over you can be a bit of a cloud sometimes, as to productivity or motivation to work on something. So yeah, I was definitely happy. Like Claude was pretty helpful for refactoring a bit for this engine. And yeah, now I'm happy to come back to it. and carry on doing stuff. But this has been going collision detection. I mean, it might be going. It's probably, yes, conceptually, it's probably quite a hard thing. You know, adding collision and collision avoidance, and then also animating the meshes. So animating the collision as well, so you can go past it. But it might just be now. Might be getting stuck. I don't know. Here we go. We could have been looking at this all along. Mate, he's made a lot of info. What? Okay, so let's see what it was saying. I ain't reading all that. Barrier structure. Row of gates spanning a width. Position direction one way. Walls on either side. Cube primitives. Gate post. Thin cubes or cylinders. Gate doors, thin cubes that rotate or slide. Agents need to know about the barriers in their path and if they should queue. So first I'll add the barrier entities with their visual components. Then implement the gate mechanics and queue system. Each gate needs processing time. I mean, it's thought a lot about this. I mean, this is pretty complicated, so... No. Still going. I mean, this is just too much text. 88% used. VecDQ collections. Hasn't added any code yet, has it? No. But I think it's going to be a big drop. Session has been continues from a previous conversation that ran out of context. Okay, here we go. This one. This is the readme. Cue another message. Well, I'll get it to do the readme after. Hopefully it can still use that summary. I just want to see the results now. Right, I'm just going to leave this here. I'm quickly going to get a drink. I'll be back, but I'll just leave this running. Right, back in biz. This is taking time. What are you building, Marcellum? Still going. Hell of a lot of context. Static wall geometry, spinning. No, spawned cubes for barriers and gates. Oh, here we go. Come on. We're gonna. Hopefully, we can have some visual output. Come on. So now he's thinking about making walls. I think probably for the long run, like a better, not just using cubes for walls, having like some sort of system. I don't know, not maybe grid based might be easier if it was grid based. Cube mesh, wall height, in barrier, out barrier, 3 gates per barrier. Gate opening 12 units wide. Okay, so what's it got? Update setup to spawn walls, gates and posts and gate flaps. Update agent component with state and pass steer. Implement agent state machine, moving, queuing and processing. Add a gate flap animation. Compile and fix errors. It has got quite a lot of work to do. This is the biggest. That sounds nice. I haven't used Godot myself, actually, but a lot of people talking about it all the time. I just basically, this is my own engine that I made. I've got a C++ one as well. I've kind of always done things from scratch. Basically, when I started coding, the Unity didn't exist, Unreal Engine didn't exist, and had to do my own, had to do everything myself. So it's sort of how I came into it, really. Right, okay, well, actually, it did the code quickly. Let's see if it compiles. Ooh. Right, it's a little bit narrow, would you say? It's a bit tight, I think. But they did go through. I wonder if we can... Let's start it again. The barriers... I mean, it's done fairly well. There was quite a lot of code that I had to add. What's this component? More changes. He just went through the wall, though, this guy. So that's no good. And the rotation of the gate's a bit weird. we have 3 gates. The rotation. There's so much stuff about this that I don't like, but I'm not sure exactly what it is that I don't like about it. I think that we should probably, I think we just go down to 1 gate per direction and get that feeling nice instead of the 3. The gate posts, I suppose the walls are fine, but what did they do? They went through the walls, didn't they? Someone did. Yeah, he did. And it doesn't even make sense, because there's like, I said, what you would have is, we just want 1 set of gates with an in and an out, and then some of them have to get from the outside in and inside out. Well, progress nonetheless, but just taking these edits. I had to make the crate public. Actually, when it's done this, I'll get it to write the readme for itself for later, just so it's kind of saved. But yeah, look, look, they're going through the wall. They're sliding sideways as well. It's all a bit cramped, I think. Okay, so I'll get him to save. Can you write a readme? Okay, let's see if I can do that. Yeah, so you already have that one from before, so that should be fine. Okay, and then where does he put this? Is it Claude MD, or is it in the .claude folder? Is it memory? Here we go. Where's this going to? ratrace.md ECX. Ah, okay. That's cool. So it's a README for this particular demo. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, cool. So let's see how we're doing on token-wise. Right, 100% used now. For this session. 22% used of my weekly allowance. But I do have an extra spending limit that was a promotion. So either that might be the end of it for now, or we might be able to carry on going. I don't know how this works now. Okay. The barrier. Oh, is the barrier 2-way? Barrier info. Pos Z or neg Z. We have 2 barriers. Or maybe they can go through both sides. It's just a little bit too cramped to tell what's going on, so I need to like simplify it, and then we can have a few agents. So can we simplify the scene to 2 agents per side, plus Z and minus Z. Let's call those in or out. In is plus Z. Out is minus Z. Because that's like if you're in the station or you're coming out of the station. Okay. And let's just have 2 gates, 1 in and 1 out. If I just get a bit more space. Okay, so we are going, even though I've got 100% of my token usage. So I must be going into my extra money limit. Yeah. Extra usage. Okay. I'm on 2% of that now, so I can carry on. This is how they get you, right? I'll be paying the £100 in before no time if I wanted to carry this on. So changing the gates, because what I just wanted is 1 row of barriers. I think this double barrier system's a bit confusing. No, so I see. There is 1 gate in and 1 out, but they should be next to one another. Okay, cool. Look, they're queuing though. It's just that they go through the wrong wall. I don't like the barrier itself, the way it rotates. No, because I know it compiles. Side by side, in and out, with just 1 row of wall. The agents were going through the wall. The wall of the opposite direction barrier. I think that makes sense. Yeah, they do. They do only care about the first barrier. That's correct. I noticed that. So yeah, what I want is the barriers would be side by side, and then you've got either one you can go in or out. That makes the queue, and that's essentially the entrance to the station. And the game would be that you're going to have a queue for the barriers, so you could buy a new barrier, and maybe you could dynamically change the direction the barriers go. So you'll have busier time of day, where a lot of people are coming into the station, so you want more barriers to go in, and then you want more barriers to go out later in the day when people are returning home from work. And the same with the escalators. Sometimes you have, like in London, they have 3 escalators, and one of them will change. So you have 2 going up or 2 going down, and it changes depending on the time of day. And I was thinking that would be kind of a fun game mechanic in that you build the things, but then you have this kind of real-time element where you have to switch the direction of the barriers, or change the way, or temporarily disable one of them or something if something happens. And that's kind of like you're doing the building game, and then you're doing the kind of like real-time game where you're kind of clicking on stuff and keeping things flowing. didn't like the rotating barrier bit doesn't really work, does it? I think maybe something that slid. Here we go. Cool. Okay. Now. Yep. No, because we know it's compiled. So that was good. Now they both go through, and the movement's a bit weird there, where they were kind of sliding sideways. But this is kind of in principle what I was after, right? I think it definitely overcomplicated it in the first place, but right, what we've got now is that they don't go to the barrier to change their, they kind of go straight ahead. So should the barrier become a waypoint? No, I think the barrier should become a waypoint. The agents seem to once they reach the collision, they need to plan around barriers. And then when the agent decision making, when you have more barriers, they would be looking at like which one has the smallest queue or that kind of thing to make the most efficient usage. Okay. We don't need to compile it. We know it's working. So they did work. They came through. Oh no, these ones have got stuck. Okay. They kind of made it, right? But well, so the idea is that there would be barriers and a train. I'm trying to think what I should do. Maybe we should get the kind of flow where they have, this is an exit to the station, so they would go. But this is the station, and then we could have a train that comes up, and that would drop off new agents. That then the agents will come off the train, and then they will leave. You know. So yeah, I think we've probably made that now. Let's see if we can do it. Let's add trains to the system. The train platform will appear to the left and right. Like no, we'll have train. Not very good explanation. There will be two platforms, one to the left of the barriers on the inside and one to the right. So we should see them here and here. The train would come from a different direction on each platform. So let's say, I think this one's out plus Z. probably ask it to add something so we can more easily signify what's on the inside. Let's just see what it does. So that'll add a train. The train should be made of some geometry that the agents can go inside and can carry them. This would require some kind of velocity inheritance. So we inherit velocity from the train. Let's see how it does. So if it made a train platform, I imagine that might be a cube, and then it would drop down, and then the train would be made out of some geometry that the agents can also go inside. Arriving, stopped, and platform. Okay. I'm not happy about the barrier. Why? Like, what is the rotation? Like, I feel like it should be more, rotate. I think they open like that. Like, you have small ones, right? You have two. Or maybe a sliding door might be better. Two platform. One to the left of the barriers inside, and one to the right. Train geometry that agents can go inside. Agents inherit velocity. It's a significant feature addition. So is it going to be... It's going to be another, 10 minutes of planning, is it? Give it some states. Agents attaching to the train when it's stationary and moving with it as it leaves. Train itself is just a scaled box that travels along a fixed track. The barriers are at z equals 0, and the station interior extends into positive z. So I think this is positive z. I'm picturing two platforms running parallel along the x-axis. No, it's done it wrong. It should be on the z. Parallel in the z-axis, I think. I would put one here and one here. Well, let's see what it does. Trains would approach from opposite direction, one from negative x. And agents can board them. I think it's going to have done this wrong. Anyway, so when they board the train, it's going to give the agents waiting for train and riding flags. And it's realizing it's getting complex quickly, since the user wants to add trains iteratively. I don't really know what it means by that. For core mechanics, I need platforms as visual elements, trains as moving entities. Cycle through their states. It's complicated, man. This is loads. Look. Absolutely loads. It's like, I ain't reading all that. I'm sorry that happened, or I'm happy for you. I just want to know what it does. This one's going to be a token cruncher. I can feel it. Two platforms inside the station. Z equals 50 and Z equals 35. Train runs along X. I'm not sure if it understands this. This is... Because is this the X-axis? You want the trains coming like this way, in the Z-axis. Because, like, you can't go over the... You'll have one platform here, so then we need a bridge or something, or a way to the other platform. Which is fine. In some stations, you might do that, basically. You would have a platform that you come into straight away, and then you would have one here, and then you would need a tunnel or a bridge to go over to the other platform, which is certainly what you would add when we add the building elements to the game. You would decide as the user. But I suppose Claude is my building mechanic, and I'm getting them to do it for me. Train speeds, load of states and constants. Yeah, I think it's not going to have compiled. Oh no, here we go. Right. So, okay, so these are the trains. They're tiny, right? Oh look, he's got on though. They did get on, right? It's kind of working. Okay. I mean, this is so now they're just stuck on the trains. Right, let's get it to change them into putting the trains in the Z-axis. Be in the Z-axis. Oh, because now the agents cannot get to the further train without crossing the platform. So if the trains were at the X extents of the barriers, and then and travel in Z, then the central area between the platforms is navigatable. Can you also, I'm going to see, can you also make the train geometry bigger? Really, you want to have like actual physical like trains they can go inside with seats, because that the amount of capacity in the train is going to be a constraint for the system as well. So let's just get it to do this first. I think like the debug, so what I was going to do for the rendering, I was planning on trying to get it to do it with sign distance fields, so we can generate the better looking meshes in a shader, and Claude might be able to do that fairly well. Or if not, I can sort of help steer it along that way. It just means that the assets then will be procedurally generated with code instead of having to make bespoke assets in, say, a separate software. Okay, so there's a few more people on the stream now. Actually, I'm trying to make a game that simulates a train station or a tube station with traffic and These are the trains. These are the agents. These are the barriers. And I'm making it with Claude. So it's a bit wonky, but maybe we can get it there. I don't know. So let's see if we can get the trains in. So the trains in the main game, or if I can get that far, I think you would choose where you want to put the trains. And you would build the platforms, and you would change the platform lengths, and you would change the train lengths to kind of account for how busy the station gets. Let's see what we're at now. So we've got about 585 lines of Rust code to have made this so far. Okay. Come on. Problem is, it's a little bit hard coded, you know, how it's doing these things, where it's putting them. So it's going to be a lot of work later to go through, parameterize all that and make it more dynamic. But I think at least this way we can get some mechanics and iterate on the mechanics. Here we go. Right, okay, well, it's moved the trains are in the right place now. Oh, mate, like... Okay. So we don't want to move them a little bit. Make the trains bigger, I would say. And the platform. I mean, I don't think we need the platform. So let's see. So it's looking better. I think what should happen is when these guys leave, they should go to the exit and then disappear and then respawn, or basically come back in. So you want to have people coming in, and then when the train leaves, a random number of new agents are spawned inside the train, I think. And also, the trains are weird, right? I think they come back and forward, which doesn't make sense. So like a train, the train, it doesn't go back and forward on the same line. It keeps going the same direction. The trains always keep going the same direction. Okay, so let's think about how to explain this to Claude. So can we make the trains bigger? For starters, bigger, let's say maybe 4x, right? 4x bigger. They pass through the barrier, so they need to be pushed more in plus x and minus x respectively. Is that one z? No, this is z. Yeah, it's x. I don't for now I don't think we need the platform mesh. So it's just going to be, let's see if it can just do this small changes. And then, yeah, trains don't go back and forward like that. They need to keep going, disappear, and a new one spawns, basically. Right, that's better though. Now, it didn't make it 4x bigger though. But oh no, maybe it's just doing that first edit to move it in the x-axis. Yeah, the long file thing. I am a long file fan, so for the time being, I don't know. 500 lines of code, I think, is fine for a single thing. At some point, we will have to break it up, but for today, I'm just going to keep just sort of appending to this same file. Don't look at my C++ engine code. It's massive, long, single files. Still waiting. Okay, so come on. Let's have some 4x the scale, adjust the Y position, and remove the platform mesh. Get rid of the platforms. I think platforms are more just a visual concept. At some point, here we go. He's not scaled up the trains though. Oh, they're probably too big now. Right, but now they go on them. Right, and there we go. Trains. No. So let's say make it scale down the trains to half the size. I think that'll be half the size. Will be just about right. Okay. These guys are stuck now in deadlock. I don't know if I can be bothered to get it to fix that at the moment. And here they travel, they slide into. Oh no! Look, he's gone on the platform, onto the track, and now he's on there, right? So let's see if we can get the train to do a continual loop. The trains go back and forward. This is incorrect. Trains should always go the same direction. In one direction only on each platform. You should keep translating the trains much further and then despawn the entity as it sort of, goes out of existence. Then you should spawn a new train that will arrive carrying a variable number of agents. So let's see how it can do. And then we'll get them. So then the trains will keep bringing passengers in, and then we'll have a constant flow, which I think that'll start making it feel a bit nicer. And then these guys should leave the station and they should disappear. We needed to have a way to kind of, I don't know, there'd be an exit and then they would leave and then they'll be, they'll go off the map and walk away to a point where you can't see them. But it doesn't matter for now if we just get them to disappear. So it's just one big old update function, trains, agents, and gate animations. The gate animations, they were also wrong or terrible. Barriers. And then also what you really want is escalators where you would go down. I probably won't think about that today. But that'll be for a future one. I think it'd be fun to hopefully keep this going. Let's see how I'm doing on tokens. Okay, 10% of my extra allowance. Which isn't bad. I think the most stressful situation would be if you're like trying to do something and you don't really understand the code and then you keep running out of tokens or it starts costing you loads of money to kind of fix the problems that you get into. Luckily enough, I'm a coder from a time when we didn't have all of this, so I've had to fix many a hard bug or debugging problem, so I fancy myself to be able to get myself out of any mess. But I do know people using this now who are not software engineers, who are generating code and making apps and making stuff. And I think sometimes, something could go wrong and you just really, stuck trying to get an AI to help you fix it. But maybe they'll get better at that, and then maybe there'll be nothing that we, in the world that we need to do anymore. So what's it doing? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. Game meshes and handles. Disembarking logic. Full train life cycle. Agent spawn. Trains brings people into station. They need to exit out through the barriers. Trains take up people away. They enter through in. Yeah. I mean, this is actually, trying to get Claude to make the game is like a game in itself. This is the building. I'm trying to, Claude is my tool to be able to build the train station and the mechanics. So maybe I don't need to have, because I was thinking maybe, you would have like a way to click and build and buy stuff. That probably in the long run would be good for game mechanics. Mate, also like so much context. Rewriting the whole file. Oh no. This is it's gonna cost me. So yeah, the agents slide sideways. That's a bug. Bunch of stuff. They wait on the track. So part of the game would be, I was thinking, when it gets busy, they would wait on the platform. But if it got too busy, people might get pushed onto the platform, and then at that point, that would be game over. You know, it's like people have died then. So it's all about the kind of the congestion and making sure that you manage that. Spawning. Train state machine. So let's have a bit more of a look at the code that it's written so far. Loads of consts. Which, yeah, I mean, we could... we didn't want to get rid of those hard-coded train kind of things. Pasta. We got the agent. That'll probably be target platform. That can scale with more platforms. Train state machine, the train. Timer. Number of passengers. An array of passengers. Gates, barriers. I think there'll be escalator that you go down as well. And then in the long run, the agents will have their own like personalities, a bit like ones who are in a rush and get annoyed at the other passengers, ones that are taking their time, ones that get lost or go the wrong way. People are always standing in the way or like looking at a map, you know, that kind of thing. Barrier visuals. That's certainly some stuff that I wasn't happy about. Come on, here we go. Almost done. Come on. The problem with this actually is that probably going to have to rewrite a lot of it. So it's not as hard coded in terms of like the train platforms, you know, platform X. Well, if you want more platforms, we want to be able to go further down. You might have more lines in the station. You know, this would be a line, like a tube line. You have two directions, but you might have multiple tube lines. So then you wouldn't have to go further down, position trains in different axis, and at the moment they're kind of hard coded to be just in the Z axis. Maybe with these changes, the rework the train system, it might be a bit more extendable. How long have I been going for? Almost 2 hours. I'm trying to think if I would have been able to do this myself this quickly. Probably would have, you know. And 2 hours is fairly long, and I wouldn't have had to wait as long at the start to get started and that kind of thing. I think that's one of the things with it. It kind of seems like AI coding is saving you time or it's really fast. But is it actually? I think sometimes it certainly does, but sometimes it certainly takes longer. And like, we're just waiting now. I've been waiting for ages. And it's got to still rewrite the file. The entire file. Right. Min and max passengers 8. Okay. Okay, cool. So now we've got trains that spawn. Okay, and they're spawning more people. Okay. That's cool. Oh no, chaos. They're all stuck, right? Event. Oh no. Right. Okay. Well, this is getting there now, so I think quickly I can just make it so the train should have more carriages, I think, as well. They should spawn. I suppose it doesn't really matter. They are spawning. I think a little bit more distance before they spawn. So I'll ask it to say, make the trains travel a bit further before they despawn, and make them travel further from where they spawn to the station. Just, I mean, look at this. This is chaos now. The one barrier system is definitely a bottleneck. Look, and now, I mean, this is kind of the essence of the game that I was trying to start working on, right? You're going to get really busy. You're going to be like, right, we need more platforms. We need more we need more barriers. We need, I don't know, a bit more distance for them to travel in. To kind of sort out the flow of the traffic. Okay, so here we go. Two agents. And they just wait on the platform. Okay, cool. The agents disappear. Oh, they do. Cool. Right. Well. I'm fairly happy with this. This has been, what are we at? We're at about, I'll probably call it a day at 2 hours, and then I'll come back. Yeah, that's correct. There's been a crush. You lose. That's the whole point. You're supposed to avoid that. So I think trying to actually get that mechanic in there from the start, like the sort of failure criteria, is good, that we can get that in and have a loop, based around it. The agent behavior, they're colliding with each other. I think all of that, like, it needs a proper solver, for like so they wouldn't queue like this. They'd probably be a bit more orderly. They probably wouldn't go in a really long line back. But that the queue and the crowd dynamics is definitely stuff that needs working on. think if I just restart it, so oh no, they get stuck on each other. That's, you know, basic. And then they move in a direction that's not their facing direction. So let's see if I can just fix that. And also, I think people should come into the station as well. So I'll just get some random spawning of agents starting outside the station. Because at the moment, all the traffic's going one direction, right? They're coming off the train. So there's that. Let's add those agents. And then, yeah, the thing about the collision, I think this is a good start, and that probably what's most likely would be delving into each of the individual parts more deeply. So, for example, the agent behavior, the collision avoidance, coherence, and all the kind of Boyd or constraint system stuff, collision solver. You know, that'd be like a focus session that just, you know, you would just be looking at that particular thing and trying to really refine that mechanic. Even for like getting on the train, you want to have the available seats, available space. The train carriages could get full at certain times, so people then have to wait on the platform. I think there's like a lot of nice, like, sort of focus areas that could be drilled into. Okay, so we've got people coming in now. I mean, there's loads. That's like such a constant stream. Oh, mate, it's so busy. So busy already. I think make the agents a little bit smaller. And it's called Rat Race. I thought it'd be fun because it's like the rat race of going to work and that. And then they could be like little rat characters in like business suits and stuff, you know. That might be quite cute if we can make them. We may get Claude to make them. Let's say 2x smaller. I think that just might. It's not the right solution, but the agents are quite big compared to the size of the barriers and the trains, and then that's also then making the collisions sort of, you know, it creates more collisions and a bit more congestion. Okay. Ah, yes. And they look much cuter now, except for the fact they slide sideways. Why is he doing that? Oh, it's something to do with the waypoint. The direction. So the agents now a sliding movement. What's the right dot? Not following their rotation direction. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but especially when they going to the barrier. Slide. So let's get it to fix that one small thing at a time. Okay, so the waiting. Yeah, they should wait. Oh no. It's confusing. Like, who's waiting for the train? Because these aren't being picked up now. They're just on the platform. It's kind of broken. But this is kind of fun, and let's see if it can fix the direction thing. Then I'll save all of this. I'll push it on a branch, and I'll probably call it a day there. But anyone who is watching this stream now, give me a sub, and then, or if you want to see it again, I'll carry on doing this. I got some other videos on there that I did working on some other things. I'm working on a music app. I use Claude for some of that, but then there's also videos of just stuff I've been working on, and some older stuff, you know, pre-AI coding. You can find on my GitHub. This is on GitHub, the engine on Hotline. It's called. It's on my GitHub at Polymonster on YouTube, or Polymonster on GitHub. So if you want to check out the code, everything's in there. That'll be open source. I'll put this on a branch. If you enjoyed it, let me know, and also, you know, check out again if you see it. I would love to hear your thoughts as well. Here we go. It's gone into maths.rs again, and I know it's gonna get it wrong. The maths. But this is the essence of the game I wanted to make. It's a bit messy. We need tightening it up, but I think that, I don't know, it's been reasonably good. Look at this, long queues, you know. So this is where you need more. They probably move through the barrier too slowly, I would say. Let's just blindly take all of this math code. Here we go. No, look, they're sliding sideways again. Weird. No. Still sliding. I don't really know. It's made them worse in that now they just curve around. Now the agent rotates first, then move in the facing direction. They don't, mate. Well. Cheers, Marcellum. Have a good one. Keep an eye out. If I do another one, join me again. Right, I'm going to call it there. I've broken the the agent's behavior. These agents. Now they're just spinning round in circles. So we're going to have to fix this. And it's worse than before. I want to... So I'm going to put I'll get the README updated so we can carry this on. Obviously, the first thing to do is to come back to the agents, these guys, not the Claude agent, but I called these guys agents. Because they are AI, actually. They're kind of an AI. They're making some decisions. Oh, did he fix that? I think he's revert the trace. The old direction code. So, yeah, still doing it, but we can debug that. And we can debug it together. And we can also simplify things. At least in that way. It's like it's when they go to the gate, their direction doesn't change specifically. I think it's when they change waypoint. But anyway, that's fairly good. I'm going to put these changes and take these and then go and have a rest. But hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll see you again if you join.